Everybody, welcome to episode 89 of Cameron Sports Podcast. It's your host here, Cameron Lindsay, back with another brand new episode. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the NHL 2025 playoffs, first round. I'm going to be making my predictions. So let's get started. Starting with the first matchup that I want to talk about, the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New Jersey Devils. It's from the Eastern Conference. This game game one would be Sunday, 3 o'clock. The regular season series was tied 2 apiece, so both teams won 2 games during the 4 meetings. The Hurricanes did eliminate the New Jersey Devils in 2023, so the last time the Devils and the Hurricanes played each other in the playoffs, the Hurricanes eliminated them in 2023. My predictions for this matchup, I'm going to go to Carolina in 6. I think this would be a decent matchup. But I think the Carolina are the better team. They do have the home field advantage, even though I think, in my opinion, hockey, when it comes to home field advantage, it doesn't really matter too much. But Carolina does play pretty well at home. I'm going to go at least in 6. So I'm going to go in this first round matchup, I'm going to go Hurricane 6 over the New Jersey Devils. Next matchup comes from that I'm talking about comes from the Western Conference, which would be Saturday at 8:30 p.m. between the Colorado Avalanche versus the Dallas Stars. On paper, this probably could be one of the best matchups in the first round. The Avalanche went 2-1 versus the Stars during the regular season. And the Colorado's Nathan McMannon had 84 assists, which was tied for in the NHL. Also, Colorado's defenseman Cale Makar had 30 goals and 92 points, which was the most by a defenseman this past regular season. So with knowing that, I think Colorado is slightly better than Dallas. It could be a good matchup, but I'm going Colorado in 5. Like I said, I just trust Colorado a little bit more than Dallas, especially over the last couple seasons. Colorado winning the Stanley Cup not too long ago, a few years ago. I'm going Colorado in 5, maybe 6, but I'm going to say 5 for this matchup. Next up, we got, again from the Western Conference, the LA Kings taking on the Edmonton Oilers. The Kings have won the season series against Edmonton 2-1-1. The Oilers, Leon Draisaitl, if I'm saying his name right, had 52 goals, which I think was one of the most during the regular season. The Kings and the Oilers have met the past. The Kings have eliminated the Oilers. They have met the past couple years in the NHL playoffs. I think Edmonton has eliminated the Kings for the most part. I think the past 3, because this will be the 4th time they have met, and I think Edmonton has eliminated them the past couple years. But this time I think it will end differently. I'm going to go Kings in 7. I think the LA Kings will get revenge over the Edmonton Oilers for the past couple of postseasons for getting eliminated by them. So I'm going to go Kings in 7 in that matchup. Next up, we got the Toronto from the Eastern Conference, the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ottawa Senators. If I'm saying their name right, Ottawa Senators. This game game 1 will be Sunday, 7 o'clock. The Senators won the season series 3-0. Toronto's Anthony Stolarz had a .926 save percentage, which was a minimum of 25 games played. And even though the Senators did win the regular season matchup 3-0, I still trust the Toronto Maple Leafs more than I do the Senators, especially in the postseason. Toronto has been a pretty decent team in the postseason. I'm going to go Toronto in 4. Like I said, I just think it'd be a different animal in any sport, professional sport, when it comes to the regular season and the postseason. And even though the Senators did sweep Toronto during the regular season, It's a different animal in the postseason, so I'm going Toronto in 4. Next up, we got from the Western Conference, the Winnipeg Jets taking on the St. Louis Blues. The Jets won the season series 2-1. Connor Hellebuyck, if I'm saying his name right, had 47 wins. Toronto's goalie had 47 wins and 8 shutouts, which is the most by a goalie during the regular season. Even though, like I said, the Jets did win the regular season 2-1, and I'm gonna go Jets in 5. I just think Winnipeg is clearly the better team. I know St. Louis had a real good season. They was on a huge winning streak last time I saw them playing on TV. But I'm gonna go Jets in 5. Like I said, again, this is another team that I think is just built more for the postseason than a team like the St. Louis Blues. Next up, we got, again, for the Western Conference, Game 1, Sunday, 10 o'clock, between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. Vegas is 15-12-1 versus the Wild all time. Like I said, Vegas is one of the newest expansion teams in the NHL. Them and my Seattle Kraken are the 2 newest teams that came, expansion teams that came, that were made in the NHL a few years ago. And the Vegas did actually win the Stanley Cup like 2 years ago. Yeah, because the Florida Panthers won it last year. And the year before that, the Vegas Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup. Like I said, Minnesota Wild have been pretty solid this year, really good this year. But I'm going to Vegas Golden Knights. This is another team, again, like I said, that knows how to win in the postseason. They won the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. But I do think it'll be a solid series. Again, the Vegas Golden Knights are 15-12-1 against the Wild. So it's a pretty almost even record between these 2 teams. So I'm going to go Vegas in 6 over the Minnesota Wild. Next up in the Eastern Conference, I got the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers. Game 1 will be Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. The season series are tied 2 games apiece. Tampa Bay's Nikita Kusa-Verts had 121 points, which led the NHL. Again, these two Florida teams are very both elite. Heck, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, Tampa Bay was on the verge of three-peating. I think Tampa Bay Lightning were the last team to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. And Florida's trying to do that now. From last year they won it to now. Like I said, the season series are both tied 2 games apiece. But I just can't go against Florida, especially what I've seen from them the past few years. I seen Florida 2 years ago beat a 60-win Boston Bruins team that dominated the regular season and beat them in the first round. Cleanly, like it was nothing. So it's just hard for me to bet against Florida Panthers, even though I'm a Seattle Kraken fan. I'm going to go Florida in 7 against Tampa Bay. I think this would be the best first-round matchup during the Stanley Cup playoffs, on paper at least. It should be the best, but I think it will end up being the best first-round matchup. And lastly, we got the Washington Capitals taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Washington won the season series 2-1. Washington has 12 goals to Montreal's 8 during the regular season series. I'm going Washington in 5 over the Canadiens. Like I said, I think Washington is the better team in this situation, but who knows? I could be wrong. Like I said, Game 1 will be Monday at 7 o'clock on TV. So, but yeah, let me know what y'all think. What are your predictions? If you're an NHL fan, the Hurricanes versus the Devils, I got Carolina in 6. The Avalanche versus the Stars, I got Colorado in 5. The Kings and the Edmonton Oilers, I got Kings in 7. Toronto and Ottawa, I got Toronto in 4. The Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues, I got the Jets in 5. The Vegas Golden Knights versus the Minnesota Wild, I got Vegas in 6. Tampa Bay Lightning and Florida Panthers, I got Florida in 7. And Capitals and Canadiens, I got Capitals in 5. But yeah, I definitely appreciate each one of y'all tuning in for this episode for the 2025 NHL First Round playoffs. And again, like I said, I do have a new logo out. Let me know what y'all think about that. My last episode for WrestleMania 41, night 1 and night 2. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Like I said, I think my channel is heading into the right direction. I got a brand new look. I got some other stuff I want to try to work on, so stay tuned for that. And like I said, again, I'm on Facebook now with my podcast. I'm on Twitter X. I'm even on I'm working on TikTok, but right now Facebook, Twitter X, just working on that. But yeah, follow me on those. I have my social medias at the end of this episode and in the description. But I appreciate each one of y'all tuning in to your favorite podcast with your favorite host, Cameron Lindsay. And I'm signing out, and I'll catch y'all next time for another episode. Y'all take care.